Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 15th episode of SMY Podcasts. Now, for today's episode, we have a rather interesting topic, and you'll find out in just a few seconds. Now, for today's episode, it is the 15th episode, and as you all know, we have made a commitment to bring in a special guest every 5 episodes, which means for today's episode, the topic is going to be about the experiences of an average golfer. Now, we have brought in a special guest. His name is Shangara. Shangara, could you please care to introduce yourself and
Yes.
perhaps some of your achievements in golfing?
Hello, everybody. My name is Shankara. I'm 21 this year. I've been playing golf for, you can say, almost my whole life. Started when I was 4 years old, on and off, not really serious. But then on when I was 13, which would be 2013 onwards, until now, I've been playing competitively, which means I've been active in tournaments and so on. So as mentioned, all these tournaments and all that I've done. I've obviously won a few awards. Not a lot, not a lot. I'm not that great of a golfer, but I have won a few. Um, yeah, the experience of a golfer during those times, especially as a junior and back when I was training in Sarawak, those are one of my most precious memories in playing golf. And I've honestly learned a lot during my time there. So maybe if you stay tuned, I later will be talking about some few questions and then I'll be giving more details about that.
Right.
Yes.
As Shangara said, we have some burning questions that we'd like to ask him.
Yes.
Right. So without further ado, let's move on to the questions, right? Now, I'll start with the first question, and that is, how did you find your passion for golfing? How did you realize that maybe this is something that's really fun for me? I like this. How do you find that flame, that spark?
Well, just like everybody in this world, when they're finding their passion, there has to be, like you mentioned, a spark in their life that kind of like got them the interest to actually move forward and take up a certain thing, activity, sport, or whatever it may be. So my spark would be when I was around 4, I saw my dad playing and he actually brought back home like a huge trophy. So I was like, when I mentioned 4 years old, so the trophy is almost my size, you know. So I was like, wow, it's so big, it's so nice. So I told my dad where he got this from, blah, 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 so on. And then he was like, okay, I got this from a golf tournament. So I was like, what is golf and all that. So we were talking about it. Then he said he'll bring me to play one day. So he brought me to especially on a driving range where it's like a place where you practice. You know, the one where there's a meters, like 50 meters, 100 meters like that. So he
Yeah.
brought me there. Yeah, so he brought me there. It's called a driving range. So we practiced there. You know, we bought some balls and we just hit them together into the sky like that. It's a nice sight. I don't remember much because I was 4 years old, but I still remember bringing when he bought me my first new golf set with all the clubs. And then it was my first training with him, where my dad was my first coach. I think most of us, our dad's kind of like our person who inspires
Hero.
us. Yeah. So my dad was my first coach in this, so he taught me everything from the basics. Then, like a few months later, I got another coach to come and train me to be a bit more skillful, to improve a bit more of my skills on that. And then I got a bit hooked. I got hooked onto the game. I really loved it.
I see. So we could say that your dad was the inspiration, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So then moving on to the next question, Manu, would you care to ask it?
Oh, yes, definitely. I've been also lining up some questions to be asked. So, what was learning the basics? How did you learn the basics? What are the basics of a golfer? Because I have never played golf myself. Because what I've
Same
seen,
here.
yeah, what I've seen is people just hitting it, and yeah, and it falls into the hole. And yeah, as an amateur golf player like
In terms
you,
of
so
in
what
terms
are
of knowledge about golfing, we are practically cavemen. Anga banga. Yeah.
Okay, okay, can.
so what was
Flintstone.
the basics that you learned?
Okay, like
Yeah.
the basic rules when you play golf. Okay, As you mentioned, you just got to hit the ball in the hole. Okay, but it's not just that. Okay, there are certain you can call it something like a levels. Okay, the levels depends on the distance between the place where you start to the hole. Right. So your objective is to get the least amount of shots to get in the hole. So I'll give you an example. Let's say both of you are competing with each other. All right. You start at the same distance. All right. Both of you start the same. Let's say around 400 yards. Both of you start with 400 yards. So 400 yards will be a par four. We call it a par four. Right. I'll get a little bit more into that later. Right.
Yeah.
So let's say maybe Yash, you managed to get a four, and Mano, you managed to get a five. Right. So the least your number is the winner. So in this case, Yash will win. Something like this, getting the least amount of strokes. So, like I mentioned just now, remember I said the par four. Correct. This you got to pay a bit attention on this. Okay. So usually when you play golf, there are three main pars, which are par three, par four, and par five. Okay. The par means, okay. Have you heard the term in English above par, below par?
No.
Yeah, I feel
It's the English word. Okay. It's something like your score is above par, means it's like above average. Or below par means it's below average. Something like that. Okay. So similar like that in golf. So let's say earlier I mentioned par four, right? So when they say par four, it means that you are supposed to play 4 strokes on that hole. Okay. So if you do the maths, okay, it's around 400 yards. The average golfer's first shot is going to be around 200 yards, 200 plus yards. Okay, let's just say it's 250. Okay, so after that, you'll be having another 150 yards left to the hole. All right. So your second shot should reach the green. So this is how golf actually works. The par four, okay, with the par four, you got to reach the green. The green is actually like, if you can see on my picture, the one next to that sand place, there'll be a really short grass. Right, that's called the green. Okay, so you got to take about 2 shots to land on the green, and from there, okay, you got to take 2 putts. Putts is something like you're just sweeping or pushing the ball where it rolls. I bet you have seen that before.
Yeah, I've seen
right?
that.
Okay, you don't launch the ball in the air. It's not a projector like that. It's just like a rolling. I think you've seen that. That's called putting, right? So on that green, you got 2 strokes to play a putt. So if you count all of that, 2 shots on the green, 2 shots putt, so it'll be 4. So you play what you're supposed to play, par 4.
Right. Right.
So similar like that, there are par 3s and there are par 5s. So par 3s would be something where a bit shorter distance, usually it's around less than 200 meters, right? So it takes about 1 shot to land on the green. 1 shot to land on the green, 2 putts, you play 3 for par 3. Right? Par 5 would be the opposite. It will be longer. So this would be maybe around 500 to 600 meters or yards.
Right? I see.
So the average golfer would take about 3 shots to reach the green. And then once he reaches the green, he takes 2 putts to get in the hole. All right? The average golfer should take around 2 putts to reach the hole. It's about reading the, you know what's gradient, right?
Yeah, gradient.
Every surface has a gradient. So you can see like the green, maybe it has a slope here. So if the slope is on the right side, you should aim more on the right side. So your ball actually curves to the left. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Moving on to the third question, but I believe you've already answered the third question, and that was who inspired you to play golf, right?
Yes.
Your dad, right?
Correct.
Right. Yes. So let's just move on straight towards the fourth question, and that is, how have you ever felt like giving up? If so, how do you deal with it? Like, have you ever lost all hope? And if so, how do you deal with it? Because if you didn't deal with it, you wouldn't be here today, right?
Okay. Let me share a true story on what would have happened if I gave up golf. So this was about when I was like late 5 years old, maybe around 2005, October, November-ish. Okay, about a week, less than 2 years since I started golf. So I was in the driving range with my dad. So I really didn't know what actually happened on the day. Like usually I hit my shots really good. Okay, it'll be like on target and all that. So today, this day, that special day, I just didn't know what was going on. Okay, I just kept missing the ball. I couldn't even like get a clean shot on it. You know, like how you miss the ball when you play futsal or something like that. You just
Mm, see.
completely miss the ball entirely, something like that. So I was like freaking out. What's going on? Oh my god! To a point where in front of my dad, I actually threw the golf club, and I was like, you know what? This is a stupid game. I'm not playing it anymore.
I
Okay.
see.
Seriously,
Right.
no joke. Okay, this happened 2005 when I was 5 years old. I got so pissed off. I really didn't know what was it. I don't really remember that much, but I remember me throwing the club and saying it's a stupid game. I would never ever play this again. Right?
Okay.
That's the thing about golf, or any type of sport which because it's human body isn't perfect. Okay, sometimes
Yeah.
you might have some small pain or some small damage in certain areas. Okay, minimum damage, maybe some small muscle tear, so it kind of causes a little imbalance. Okay, I don't know if you all studied in physics. There are like three
Oh no, we didn't study physics yet.
Yeah, we are not at that level yet,
yeah,
unfortunately.
three hand rules or something like that. So there's first hand rule, second hand rule, and third hand rule. Sorry, levers. There's three levels of levers. First hand lever,
Oh,
second hand
okay.
lever, and third hand lever. I
Okay,
think maybe you have heard that
yeah,
before.
that we learned. Yeah, first class, second class, third
Yeah.
class. Yeah.
First class, second class, third class. So golf is a third class level. Okay, so what that means would be, right, your fulcrum would be close to your arms.
Yes.
Right? Your fulcrum is close to your arms. So due to that, okay, it's going to be harder to maintain a precision. So just imagine, okay, you're holding a fulcrum close to you. Okay, you're going to take the club back forward. You got to maintain the same pattern and hit the ball. That exact same pattern without moving. If you move slightly left, if you move slightly forwards or slightly backs, it's gonna affect your ball flight. Am I right?
Ah,
So that precision must be there. Okay, or maybe if you accidentally bend your right knee a bit too fast, that's going to cause another problem. So when it comes to golf, everything must be that perfect flow. Okay, like one of my coach told me, everything must be in a perfect flow. We call it a swish motion. Okay, one and slap, one and slap. It has to be that swish motion. Okay, if you have like some kind of the slightly the disturbance in that motion, it's going to cause a problem. That's for sure. Right. Similarly,
ah,
I think in other sports, like I've played tennis as well, tennis is going to have the similar mechanics where you have to match that swift motion. If you drop your shoulder, let's say if you drop your shoulder a bit, you're going to make your ball go higher and a bit shorter distance. So all that
right,
mechanics kind of works here, right?
right. I
Yes.
see.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Moving on to
sometimes throughout my times, remember I told you that driving range. So obviously there are many types of events that happen. Even during a tournament, I get pissed off and I'm like, what's going on? Even my worst case was about 2019, okay, where I just really cursed myself. I was like thinking to myself, what's going on? Why can't I just do it? Okay, because I used to be that person where if I want it, I'll get it when it comes to golf. Okay, like I see the target, the ball is here, all right. I'll plan it out. All right, there's a tree here. I gotta aim slightly right. The wind is blowing about maybe 12 kilometers per hour to the northeast, something like that. I'll measure. All right. So I'll aim precisely and I'll get it done. It may not be perfect, okay, but it'll still be around my target. So during 2019, I really didn't understand what happened. I couldn't do that anymore. Like I'll be measuring everything precisely, but I'll forget maybe one small detail, which will cause me to screw up the shot, which will go to entirely away from my target. So the whole year was like that for some reason. Which so I kind of like blamed. To be honest, I was really angry because I couldn't blame myself. So I started blaming God. I, I couldn't
Okay.
blame myself because I did everything precisely. I know that the wind is blowing from right to left. I know there's the water there. I know this tree is here, so I got to curve the ball around the tree. I've known all the details and I fix it, apply it to my swing. Okay, I got to make my swing in a way where it curves nicely. Okay, I got to hit it at this power so it reaches there nicely. But maybe I'll give it a little bit of power, a little bit of extra power and all of a sudden, wind will start blowing the opposite
I
direction.
see.
So it goes to a different place. So I was like, all this is we call it unlucky. Like everybody I play with, they'll be like, boy, you are very unlucky, or bro, very unlucky, bro. So that stuff kind of hurt me, It's like
Mm.
you cannot how to say, no matter how good you actually planned everything, but it just slaps you in the back. So
Mm.
like this was that period of 2019. But then after that, I was getting better. After that, I slowly got better, and then I got an injury in my wrist. So I had to stop for about like 8 months. Yeah.
Oh.
So I just started. I just started about 2 months ago, just practicing slowly, simple stuff.
Ah, I see.
Mm.
Right.
And due
Now,
to MCO as well, couldn't play much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Now, moving on to the next question. Manu, can you ask question number 6 and 7? I'll handle question number 5.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Manu,
Yeah.
wait, I think we have some confusion going on. Right now you're at question number 5. Manu, you'll do question number 6 and 7, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, Shankara, moving on to question number 5. Who are your idol golfers? Like everybody, whenever they're doing something, they definitely will try to have that sort of idol, that role model that they want to be exactly like, in a way.
Correct.
Like a lot of badminton players want to be like Lee Chong Wei and things like that. Who was your Lee Chong Wei?
All right. Okay. I'm sure everyone would assume, because I grew up in the 2000s onwards. So during those time period, I'd say the best golfer in the world, no doubt. Okay, you can tell me otherwise. Some people say these young guys are all there. Okay, but number one is always Tiger Woods in my heart. All right,
I see.
that is statistically correct. He's always the right. But the one who kind of like inspired me the most, okay, the one that idol, which I really looked up to, okay, was Vijay Singh. Okay, Vijay Singh is a Fijian golfer, all right. He was, well, they gave me the nickname actually when I was in Sarawak, because obviously I used to play golf a lot, so I used to be really dark skinned, and I'm the only Indian there. So they're like, hey, this guy is next Vijay Singh, next Vijay Singh. Okay, then I will tell them, no, I like Tiger Woods. And then they'll be like, no, you're Vijay Singh. So yeah, Vijay Singh right now, okay, he's playing in the senior tournaments, okay, it's professional senior tournaments, okay, and he's doing really good. Okay, you should follow his Instagram, Vijay Singh, his workouts for his age and the thing he is doing. He's one of my idols till today. Okay, maybe Tiger Woods and him are close line together, but I still say number one is honestly, I think Vijay Singh. Vijay Singh would be number one. But both of them are really close. Okay, it's hard to determine because I
Yeah.
grew up at a time where Tiger Woods was the goat, where
Ah.
he was just dominating. Like in a year, all the PGA tournaments he wins at least minimum 5. He just like when you play a tournament, okay, you can know Tiger Woods is definitely going to reach the top 5 podium. That's for sure. So I grew up at a time where he was just dominating everybody on the field. All right.
Right.
So I think anyone during my time would really look up to Tiger Woods. Okay. But me personally, I would prefer to look up to Vijay Singh because he's taught me a lot of. I've never met him, but I wish I could meet him. Okay. I've met like a close friend of mine. Okay. So he's used to teach me a little bit. So he was actually close friends with Vijay Singh, coincidentally. Right. They used to train together at Bunting Golf Club for that. Right. And then Vijay Singh also, there was a one point of time where he came to Sarawak, the golf club where I was, Biri Golf Club. He used to came and train there as well. Right? But sadly, I wasn't there golfing with there, so I couldn't meet him. But yeah, if I could meet somebody, I would really love to meet Mr. Vijay Singh. Actually. I really look up to him.
Shout out to him to see the podcast.
Yeah, hopefully, if this reaches to
You
him,
will
that would be
tag
nice.
his Instagram now.
Yeah. Yes. So yes.
Fulfill the boy's dreams.
So yes.
Right.
Moving on to the next question, right? What are your
Yeah.
goals? What are your dreams in terms of reaching goals? What are the certain awards or certain tournaments that you want to win? What are your dreams?
There's always like the goal, right? Like what you want to achieve, right? So Yeah. So you please.
I'm going to talk more in a reality way, where if I spend, there'll be a lot of golfer fans maybe watching this. So I'm going to tell you, if you really want to, my goal, okay, when I was young, I've always wanted to be a professional golfer. Anybody who picked up a sport at a young age, they definitely dream for the best. So my best was to be a professional golfer. All right. Right now, I'm a low handicap golfer. I'm playing handicap two. Handicap two is something like a level. So the lower is better when it comes to handicap, right?
Mm.
So there's a thing called scratch golfers. Scratch golfers would be single handicap. So your single numbers would be like from 0 to 9. Those are scratch golfers. So 0 and below would be professional. Okay, on average, they would say something like that. Okay.
Mm.
So I started with handicap 24. Then I picked up really fast to like 10. Then I was like stuck at 10 for like a few years. And then now I managed to bring it down to a single digit. So that's one of my best achievements. But if you say dreams, okay, like I said, a young age, everybody would want to be a professional, okay? But the reality is there are many people trying to chase that dream. You're not
Yes.
the only one, okay?
Yeah.
It'll be, I'd say millions, definitely millions, because we're not the only person there, you know. You may be the best in your golf club, or you need to be the best in your state, okay? But you should know there are other states, there are other countries, there are other states in those countries, there are other continents. There are so many, I'd say millions of people trying to chase that one position in the world,
Yes. It's high
right?
competition.
Yes. So if you want to really achieve, you got to give it all you got. Work hard, learn from my mistakes, learn from my mistakes. You got to really put yourself, work hard, be determined, be focused, fix yourself. Don't fix a long-term goal. I just fix small short-term goals. Try to just get that goals done. Get the goals, move on, set another goal. Get that goal, set another goal. That's what I did during my early days and to where I am right now. And I still don't stop. I still set my goals and I still push myself forward. Well, I believe that your human body is capable of so many things. There are limitless possibilities and limitless, how to say, there are limitless ways to achieve. You can do better. You can always do better. There's a famous quote from Tiger Woods. I'm going to say it now. Okay? It goes like this. It says, I don't want to be, it's something like this. I don't remember exactly, but I don't want to be the best in the field. I just want to be the best for myself, right? Your biggest competitor is yourself, all right?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter, okay? I have a good friend of mine, when he goes to competitions, he doesn't care about the other players, right? He tells himself, okay, last time when I played here, I scored a 73. This time I'm going to play better. He
I
just
see.
focuses on that. He doesn't say something like most people would be like, oh, this guy played a 74. I should play better than him, maybe 73 or below. You should never ever have that mentality. Anything, even in studies or sports, never. Okay? Focus on yourself and improve on yourself. Right? So when it comes to dream, okay, right now my dream would be just to be maybe a frequent amateur player, okay? Because I've already moved on. I have my own career path now for my studies. All right. So I'm putting golf at the side now, but also golf is a thing where there's anybody or at any age can become professional.
I
There's
see.
I
no
see.
limit. Okay. So like I said, Vijay Singh, he plays in senior tournaments and all that. Yes, so you can be professional at any age. I knew a guy who becomes professional at 35, a Malaysian player. Right? So it doesn't mean that you should be at the early stage. Of course, if you're early and you're young and you become professional, you have more, the probability of winning will be better because your fitness is there and all that. Okay, but not necessarily. Okay, anything can happen, but you got to work hard for it. That's all I would say.
I see. So
Mm.
we must keep trying to surpass our limits, right?
Yes, keep
See,
working
right.
hard, set your goals, and just get the achievements.
I see. Right. Now, Mario, please move on to the next question.
Oh yes. Want to ask you this question. As because I've been seeing golf on TVs, not very often. I've never seen what golf players actually practice at home. So as a golf player yourself, right, what do you do to keep fit in terms of golf? How do you make sure you have that momentum with you, to have that, yeah, that sort of energy with you?
Correct. I personally, like most people, they train once a week and really, really hardcore. Like they spend maybe 6 hours in drag range and all that. Okay. But I don't really believe in those things. I believe where you need to train every day, but not long hours. Okay. At least 1 hour. All right. 1 hour daily. Maybe I train morning and evening, 1 hour like that. Okay. Including fitness and golf. Okay. Fitness wise is more to flexibility and strength. You go to the gym, you hit up, you put some weights. All right. It will hit you hit further. You know, flexibility will have to be have a smooth swing without much resistance and all that. So I personally believe if you want to really do well, okay, it works. It's different for others, but for me, I prefer doing it in short hours, but more frequent, like daily, almost daily, or if can daily, if you are free. I
I
think
see.
that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah,
Right.
agree.
Now, let's move on to the next question. Now, I'd like to ask you this question, and that is, how do you keep your cool after losing a match? Now, definitely you have lost a match, right?
Yeah, yes,
So, how do you keep your cool? Like as you said, you tend to curse yourself and all, and right? Am I right?
yes,
Right.
yes.
So, how do you keep your cool? Like, do you do yoga, anything like that?
Oh, keep your cool in that sense. Okay, honestly, it's golf is more like a mental game. Okay, a lot of people think it's you gotta hit the ball hard and all that. It's not that. Okay, it's all in your brain. Um, the famous quote from a golfer. Okay, the most important part in golf is in between your ears. The most important thing in golf is the thing that is in between your ears. Here to here, which is your mind. Your mind strength must be very good, not just for golf, I say for any sports. Okay, your mental strength, your focus, you must always be there. Don't lose focus. Just target, fix on the target, and just try to do as much as you can to get it. And don't try so hard as well, right? So it's something like you have to really be cool, relaxed, and all that. Okay, it's not something like boxing. Boxing, you can rage and you can actually
Yes,
throw your
yes.
punches at them. Okay, when it comes to golf and all that, it's not like that. You have to maintain a strong mental focus. All right, it's what my coach told me. Your mental game must be, and this thing is something where it cannot be taught. It cannot be taught. You have to learn this yourself. You practice, like you mentioned, yoga, meditating. Okay, there's so many ways which can help you in this, right? But you got to do it by yourself.
Right. Now,
Right?
that was all for. Are you done answering, Shangara?
Yes, yes.
Right. Now, that was all for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for participating in our episode, Shangara. Have a good night. Now, goodbye, everybody. This is the 15th episode of SMY Podcast. This is Yash and Mano and Shangara signing off. Peace out. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, and be sure to stream on Spotify.
Peace out.